Hey there everyone, it's Brante again, bringing you another audio commentary. This time it's Chapter 4, which, as the title suggests, is where Hillary has her first battle. At the time I couldn't really think of anything else to call it. I guess it works well enough, just may not seem all that creative. But before we get to the battle, Hillary wants to have her first Mewtwo 101 lesson, which, if you've read God of Past, you know that she got the name Mewtwo 101 from her cousin Brian. This is also the first time we find out that Hillary doesn't like the Pokemon Arceus or Arceus or Arceus or however you're supposed to really say his name. He doesn't appear until Chapter 12, and at that point it's going to be when it really starts the recurring joke about how Hillary doesn't like him. Now, Hillary's dislike of that Pokemon is rooted in my own dislike of him, where it's kind of official that he's stronger than Mewtwo and trying to replace Mewtwo, kind of. But other than her name and the basics of her design and things like where she doesn't like Arceus, I don't really consider Hillary that much like myself. Other people might think that she's a self-insert of myself in the Pokemon world, but maybe back in the beginning she was, but nowadays she's become such her own character that I don't consider her like myself at all. That's why it's so easy to refer to her as Hillary instead of me, if that makes sense or anything. I just get comments now and then making it sound like Hillary is me, and that's not how I meant it to be. It just kind of ended up looking that way. So now we're getting into the actual battle of the chapter. I'd like to think that I am able to set up really interesting battles, but at this point, and even nowadays, I'm not very good at drawing action and things like that, so it makes drawing the battles hard, so a lot of the action gets downplayed a little bit from what I have planned out in my mind, making them seem less interesting than I would want them. Although where this is just the first battle and they're both lower leveled Pokemon, I guess it didn't need to be anything too extravagant, and maybe just set up a little bit how battles are going to be in the future. I think as we go I'll be able to get the battles to be more and more interesting, which will probably be a little bit more steady. I just wish that I could have made this battle a little bit better. It kind of bugged me back then how battle damaged the Squirtle seemed in comparison to Spyro. I mean, it made sense where the Squirtle is getting hit by fire and being scratched, and where Spyro is just getting hit by water. That wouldn't really leave a mark. But it just seems like Spyro is totally dominating, where it's mostly even throughout the battle right until the end. I guess it's also worth mentioning that this character she's battling, Robin, was requested by a reader, as you may know. But it kind of seemed weird to me that someone would ask to make a character in my comic, but it actually worked out quite nicely because there are a lot of instances where I need extra trainers, and when someone requests to have a character, they make the name and what Pokemon they have and things like that, so it kind of takes a lot of work off of my shoulder. But it also gives me more to do because I got so many at this point that I don't know what I'm going to do with them all, honestly. So it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing right now, but we'll get it worked out here soon. Well, now the battle's over with Hillary as a victor, and so Robin leaves, but of course he'll be back. So now Hillary's back with her Pokemon with the new addition Sting, which he seems actually quite popular, which I'm glad, and also he's confusing people with his behavior, which I'm also glad about because they're picking up on the odd behavior. So I guess that's all for Chapter 4, so I hope you will join me again for Chapter 5, and I will see you then.